It all started this year on February 18th, when I was searching for another piece of information on addiction. Because the following day, on February 19th, I had a meeting with two members of Michigan Department of Health. And because one of them is a scholar at MSU, I needed to be updated. So I came across a study that was published recently by the National Institute on Drug Abuse. But the research did not shine a new light at all, because over 30 years ago, they discovered the real cause of addiction to nicotine as well as other addictive drugs. And after I met with the two gentlemen from the Department of Health, I felt something is hidden from the public, so I started my own investigation. Many studies were done in the past 30 years on addiction to nicotine, but there is no evidence to prove a prolonged benefit from the plan to assist smokers between age 18 to 64 to quit smoking. As a matter of fact, as you can see, only smokers above the age of 65 have success quitting, because at that age, diseases caused by smoking are already in advanced stage, and the fear of dying is stronger than the fear to quit. In the past 50 years, experts are showing us the success they have in reducing the use of tobacco. It happened because we raised taxes, restricted advertising, and by educating the public about the health results of smoking. Look at the facts. From the 60s of last century, less people were picking up smoking. However, they are eating more, much more, to become obese. And the public did not pay attention to the rising pandemic of obesity until the mid-90s, where the Surgeon General addressed the urgent need to find a solution to the new devastating pandemic. Experts clearly recognize that the addiction is to nicotine, but the diseases are caused by smoking tobacco. That's why there are warning labels on all tobacco products. But what measures were taken to inform the public about foods that directly link to cause addiction, thus obesity? And even if we did find who's responsible, with the help of their attorneys, they probably will get away with it. So I thought that teaching people how to free themselves from slavery to their addiction will be the best contribution I can give to humanity. But first, we, the people, have to recognize the existence of this form of slavery. I name it slavery to common addictions. It was never recognized by scholars before. Dr. Robert DuPont, in his book Chemical Slavery, addressed the epidemic addiction to opioids. Dr. DuPont found that most opioid users start in their teen years, about the same time they start smoking cigarettes and cannabis and drinking alcohol. So Dr. DuPont's opinion is to embrace a clear youth prevention goal for one choice, for a reason of health. No use of alcohol, nicotine, or cannabis or other drugs before the age of 21. It may sound great, but we already know what happened when we tell a 16-year-old not to do something. So what's the difference between nicotine and other drugs like cannabis, cocaine, heroin, and amphetamines? There are two key differences. One, the level of dopamine rising in the brain after using the drug, which is different from one another. But most importantly is number two. When using other drugs, the user feels the rush of high in the brain and in the body, whereas in nicotine, there is a rising in dopamine level. But the smoker does not feel anything with the five senses. Now, in order to understand the slavery to common addictions, we have to identify the most common legal drug, like nicotine, that sneaks behind the user's awareness through the subconscious, thus causing the user of that drug to become a lifelong slave to it. In 2017, obesity or severe addiction to fattening food became the leading cause of preventable premature death in the United States. And Michigan falls way behind the national average. Though in the past 50 years we see a declining rate in number of tobacco users, but nothing could stop obesity. You need to know that the difference between overweight and obese is just like the difference between a smoker of a pack to that of 2 packs or more a day. Dr. Volkow shows us that when the addict sees a stimuli, dopamine level start to go up, and then the addict reaches for the drug. In both cases, the drug is legal and stimulus can be found everywhere. And the addict of the legal drug acts and behaves like a slave. It is clear in addiction to nicotine and obesity that a drug controls the addict minds for someone's personal gain for profit. And what is a slave getting in return for being a lifelong loyal to his master? Diseases and disfiguring of the physical body, loss of self-confidence and inability to make the right decision. Eventually, the slave becomes sick to death, broke, and a burden on society. The Center of Disease Control and other experts already warns us about the rising cost of obesity in the next 20 years. Michigan cannot afford it. Therefore, immediate action must be taken. So, what can we do to stop the pandemic forced on our society by legal drug dealers? First, we have to stop the slavery to common addictions. There are people in our society that persuade others to buy the legal foods containing drugs. Through smart advertising, they are convincing the public that their products deliver relaxation, concentration, confidence, and overall a feel-good sensation. That's the bogus good feeling of high dopamine felt after consuming the drug. That's what causing the slaves to buy those foods over and over. Needless to say that those drugs dealers mainly prey on the weakest people in our society, causing them additional suffering and to surrender a large portion of their earned money. Some people might dismiss my claim for slavery to common addictions. Usually they are thinking it is Stockholm Syndrome, where the slaves develop psychological alliance with the captive. However, in slavery to common addictions, the slaves are free from physical captivity, but their subconscious is kept unknowingly captive. Thus, their conscience and physical body are also enslaved. Slaves to common addictions are not even making a logical decision or be able to act for their freedom. But maybe because of political reasons, slavery to common addictions cannot ban from the world. However, we always develop knowledge and skills to help us prosper and solve problems. But what information do we have to help addicts free themselves? As a fact, there is no such information. In another video, I explain why the quit smoking plan offered by the government can cause relapse. And as you can see, Michigan Department of Health could not even show any proofs for a prolonged benefit from the program for smokers age 18 to 64. Needless to say that the plan for obesity cannot even make an overweight person to lose weight without relapse. To end this video, I must say that there is a solution for freedom from this slavery, and it's based on education. However, the plan for freedom was not developed by private institutions who receives funds from private companies to find a profitable solution in form of another drug or vaccine, and meanwhile keep the public in darkness. The plan for freedom from addiction was created by the people for the benefit of the people, and it should be freely available for them. Now it's time to act, and the choice is in your hands. You can keep listening to what they're telling you and get the same results year after year. Or listen to our President Donald Trump, because he understands what's going on.
Announce that I will be very soon signing an executive order requiring colleges and universities to support free speech if they want federal research dollars. If they want our dollars and we give it to them by the billions, they've got to allow people like Hayden and many other great young people and old people to speak. Free speech. And if they don't, it will be very costly. That'll be signed very soon. Every day we're restoring common sense and the timeless values that unite us all. We believe in the Constitution and the rule of law. We believe in the First Amendment right, and we believe in religious liberty.